Hey, so recap, what we've done so far. We got the first video, which is around the grinders and the rainmakers in recruitment search. So those, what's the difference between those who are struggling, the struggle bunnies, and those who are doing very, very cool things, hitting the revenue, profit figures they want, but also like in Laura's case, she's working 20 hours per week. Is that the normal? No, not at all. And she's also been with me 4 years, Laura, but we've got the rainmakers and we've got the grinders. We've done that in video one. Video two, we've gone through the client process. Maybe what's stopping you right now. Then we've been through number three is the candidate process. Maybe what's stopping you from either launching, relaunching, or scaling your business right now. Now, next, we're about to go through some components around your client opportunities. So just to recap on this, I'm covering two strategies, really, which are embedded in terms of what I'm sharing with you out of around about 200 that we do. So this isn't the keys to the kingdom for everything, but it's going to make it really clear. If you use just these two strategies, your client and candidate problem will pretty much evaporate pretty quickly. So rather than me base it on opinion, I'm going to base it on maths. Okay, maths and binary numbers that you can use yourself. So you can input your own numbers and see what your own metrics will be. Okay, so let's start on math equation number one. So how many client opportunities, roles are there in your market? So how many clients are you missing out on? How many roles are you missing out on? So big question. Do you know the answer to it? If you don't know the answer to it, then you haven't got your control of your market. So you should know exactly in your market there's 10,000, say 5,000 businesses. Each business has two decision makers. It has a CEO and a HR director, as an example. So 5,000 businesses, two decision makers, that's 10,000 client opportunities. How many roles are you missing out on? Well, how many roles do they share per year? If it's, say, 10 each, that's 50,000 roles per year as a high-level metric, okay? Now, just making it very simple. So what coverage of your client market do you have? So how many clients are in your market? How many do you have? So one of the outcomes I want for each of my recruitment search businesses I work with is to have predictability in a build without stress. Huge. So as an entrepreneur, would you have started this journey if you knew how tough it is going to be? I don't know, but we want to remove stress where possible. So this starts with knowing who our clients are, how many there are, how many do you have access to, and then we can decide what system shall we use to automate inbound leads and appointments. In short, though, right now, just think the bigger the pool, the bigger the opportunity, okay? So start, first of all, volume. There's only two ways you can grow your business, okay? There's only two ways you can grow your business. One is you increase the volume of whatever component, more clients, more roles, more placements, or conversion. You convert more clients, you convert more roles, you convert more candidates, you get more repeat business through conversion. So volume and conversion, that's it. But let's start, first of all, on the bigger the pool, the volume. So on a later page, I'm going to share with you some of the samples of niches where these steps have been followed. So one of the questions that we get is, will this work in my niche? It works in every niche. We've got niches which are pushing 750,000, and we've got niches which have got 42, as in 42. So yes, but what it is dependent on is you get niche. So let's look at this as an example. I'll give you a minute to consume the information here. There's a lot of information here. What we've done here is we've done a market analysis of the client size, okay? Of the client size. So one of my members did this in their business. So niche market analysis of client size. We've got example of cybersecurity and we've got example of fintech, okay? And we've got the countries. So first of all, we got up here, total in the market. So cybersecurity decision makers in the total market. So this is the total number of decision makers in the total market. So in this example, it may include decision makers, line managers, human resources, every decision maker who decides whether to hire the recruitment search business or not. Okay, that's A. B, typical recruitment business database LinkedIn network. So this is the number we have seen as an average across hundreds, sometimes thousands of assessments carried out by the recruitment business owner following our process. So in this case, this could be your business. Say that you work in cybersecurity and there's 10,342 inside the UK decision makers. Your database may have 837. So C, how many decision makers the typical recruitment search business is missing? So this is the gap between what they could have compared to what they do have. So this impacts the entire business model from here on in. So every aspect of a client attainment is impacted from here on in. So if someone comes to me and they've got I look at their metrics, and this happens with members that have been with me for 5 years, but I should never be seeing a gap after 5 years, not even 5 months really. I'll always go back to some base questions. But if I look at a business, and I can go into a business and I can look within minutes and I can understand how that business is being functioned. I've done it now thousands of times. But some base metrics, every decision from here onwards, the base metrics will tell you, right, this chances are the way they develop clients are from the following. So this is C, about the gap. D, this is the number as an average of the client prospects, contacts, leads that will be in the database and their CRM and LinkedIn for the clients we work with. So these are examples from members. So it's not perfect. So 10,342 in cybersecurity in the UK. Our member at this point had 9,308 in their database. That means when they joined, they had 877. They added 8,431. Now you can see we've got figures for the USA, Europe, Australia, Canada, Asia, Middle East. Down here we've got FinTech. And I'll be going through a business scenario with you in a minute with FinTech, actually filling the FinTech role. So in FinTech, we've got 9,616 in the niche, or let's choose America, 48,902, average database 2,431, a gap of 46,471. Our member increased the database to 44,012, 41,581. Now the reality is you don't need all of those right away, depending on what you're building, but it gives you the ability to segment. And this takes, I mentioned members earlier, it's not uncommon to be adding tens of thousands, in a matter of weeks on this process. So, but again, for me, this is foundational stuff. But I come from an engineering background where what's the outcome? We want to get to 1 million. What's the input? So I'm just amazed that these for me, simple things are not done. So we've got 2 examples, cybersecurity, we've got FinTech, we've got different countries, different definitions, okay? So that's a high level analysis of client size in terms of their databases and coverage, okay? So next, if we take the FinTech, it's got FinTech US, UK. We've got 9,616 in the market. We've now broken it down into the next level. So we've got the decision maker is CEO, it's a managing director, it's a director. These are the locations we want to cover. Then we know how many are in each location. Then we know how many is in our database. Then we know what the gap is. So we know where to focus on first. So when we prioritize what we're going to do, we focus on, right, we've got candidates for London. Right, let's get roles in London. So let's get the database built for CEOs London, managing directors London, directors London. So it gives you a next version. The definitions up here are, well, job title is pretty obvious. It's who we want to engage with, as these are our decision makers. Location is location of the clients and all their organizations. Total market is number of clients that are in each location by role. Database, LinkedIn is the number of clients, leads that are in the database of the recruiter or in the CRM. The gap is the gap we said already. Then percentage converted, connected, not connected. This is on LinkedIn. We're taking LinkedIn metrics, so we can see where do we focus our LinkedIn effort. Or if we've got a role coming in, we know we've got 29% coverage. We've got 22 there, 121 on LinkedIn. We know what our numbers are on LinkedIn, so we know where to allocate if a role comes in, where do we focus? Or alternatively, we do it on the candidate side that I'll share with you. Now, I'll give you just a spreadsheet version here because I'm out of confidentiality. I'm not going to share inside the system or systems view, but I just want to give you a view here where you can see the metrics nice and simple, okay? So thinking about this, if you had that control at the start, this would give you the first building block to 10x your leads coming in as a minimum, okay? So I treat my business as building Lego. It's building Lego. And sometimes when you build a Lego tower, sometimes you need to take down a few bits. So maybe you build it and then it's starting to wobble. Right, we need to put more foundations in. So having now done this thousands of times with people over the years, we know what the base building blocks are, the foundational blocks. So for me, these are just building blocks, foundational things. And this then impacts everything you do from here on in. It impacts your conversion, everything, which I'll come to shortly. So mass equation number 2. What are the mathematics of using these opportunities when combined with an automated client attainment process? Now, remember I said there's anyway up to 8 different automation ways we particularly work. We're going to focus this on using one right now, okay, and the metrics behind it. So an automated client attainment process. That means, right, I need roles now. So I want to get an inbound response from a client within the next 24 hours. That's what we're talking about, okay? So what volume of roles are you missing out on? How many times is each client followed up and nurtured each month with you? Now, I don't know the numbers to that, but I just want to put those questions in there, let it percolate in your brain right now. So what we're talking about is a campaign. Now, because I come from a investment banking, then a media, but always systems engineering background, this is some of the language that would have been used. So a campaign is what you do when you need clients or candidates in the recruitment space, okay? So we run a campaign, but that campaign brings in clients or candidates. So it could be an email campaign. It could be a social media campaign if you waste your time on being on Instagram and Snapchat and whatever else. But what we're doing is focusing on a campaign is doing a thing to get a response, input, process, output, okay? So we use automated campaigns, and I call them inside RMI, Recruitment Marketing International, R. It's a name came up with about 6-7 years ago. So we don't have the time to go into this in detail right now, but in short, this brings in clients and candidates in large numbers with an automated process that works for you. It can be run on receivership of a role. So if a role comes in, run it for candidates. If you need clients, run it for clients. So let's look at the numbers below. So just now I went through FinTech, didn't we? FinTech. So let's look at this. So again, I've taken this out of a system, let's put it into a Google Sheet format so you can just see it in black and white and blue in this case. So remember, in FinTech, we had 9616 clients in the marketplace. In the database, we had 8654. So we're executing what we call a R campaign, which essentially is a template, some follow-up messages, and an automated process that's been tested, well, probably millions of times now. So we've put through just 1,000. So 1,000 of our database we've put through, okay? So we sent 1,000, means we've not sent 7,654. How many have engaged? How many have opened? 60%. So 600 opened. Replied? 33%. 200. How many A's? So A responses, inbound responses, are target company, correct decision maker, positive response, are hiring now or we will be soon. A B response, a B lead, is a target company, correct decision maker, positive response, but they're uncertain when they're hiring or will be. And a C response is one or more variables in response does not fit parameters of A and B. So we've got, with this campaign for FinTech and from this member, these conversion figures are standard conversion figures. So they now run it so many times. They know if they put in 10,000, they get a 60% open rate. If they put in 1,000, get 60% open rate. Same all the way through. They get these figures all the way through. They're consistent. They've done it so many times. Now, I've rounded it up just to make it easy to explain on here. So rather than be 9% or this being 23%, I've just put it in nice and simple numbers so we can go through it nice and easily here. But these are real numbers. So we've got the A's, 10%. So we've got 20 A's. We've got 40 B's and we've got 60 C's. So the appointments we want to have are with the A's and B's. So total replies we wish to speak to are 60, A plus B. Total appointments attained, so we've got 60 leads here. Now, the attainment of the appointment is for this person running around 50%. That means that they get 50% appointments. So they follow up with the 60 leads, they get 30 appointments, okay? Or they may follow up and get through to 30 decision makers, or they make 30 on site, whatever your conversion process for this member is 50%. Then roles attained for appointments, so their closure rate. So for every 2 clients they speak to, they get 1 role. It's 50%. So that means they speak to 30, they get 15 roles. So the pipeline value at 20K per role is 300K. Now, clients in the market, this is the top number of decision makers in the market. Clients in database, we covered that. It's in the member database. Execute R. This is an automated campaign because it's 5-7 messages, an automated process. It's created a few years back when we came across an opportunity for our clients. Sent, the number we sent through R. Not sent, number we've kept back for a future campaign. Engage, number of the campaign opened by our target. Reply, the number of our target clients who reply to the automated campaign to one of these 5 to 7 automated steps. So remember I said most messages get the most responses are 4 to 6. Then we've got A's, B's, and C's. So we've been through the leads. Then we've got total replies we should speak to. Then we've got total appointments attained, A plus B inbound leads we've been through, roles attained, but the pipeline value there is 300K. Now, these are based on a member. These aren't woo-woo picked out the air. These are based on a member. This is now. This is not woo-woo, okay? So I've rounded up some of the figures to make it nice and easy to explain, but these are real figures. Caveat, first time you run a campaign will be the worst figures you get. So the first time you run it, you might get a 40% open rate, or you might get a 1% reply rate because your message sucks. You've not done the avatar process properly. But when you get something like this working, it's normally anywhere from 3, 4, 5 cycles. So each cycle means you tweak a template. You're not picking up the phone 100 times. Then you've got something that you put X amount of units in, you get X amount of units out the back. It becomes predictable. It's powerful. But recruitment people don't think this way. They just think about now. It's like they've got the dopamine problem. It's like dopamine, the drug we let off our brains. So when you go on a gambling machine, dopamine rush. You go on a computer game, dopamine rush. Drink a glass of wine, dopamine rush. Recruitment people are great people. Energy's fantastic, but it's bam, 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 bam. We don't stop and think, right, what's my outcome? Get to 1 million. Let's be methodical about it. So let's take the same data now. Remember, we've put 1,000 through. We've got these conversion figures. Let's now put 5,000 through with the same conversion figures. They proliferate to the following. So 865 on the marketplace, put 5,000 through. That means we've not sent a 3654. Conversion metrics stay the same. So 60% open, 3,000, 33% reply, 10%, 20%. And you see the numbers we get here. A's and B's, roles taken from appointments, campaign value. So you can see how you can get control of a campaign very quickly. Now, remember I said to you before, there are only 2 ways to grow your business. You increase the volume or you increase the conversion. So in this case, if you look at the reply here, 33%, if we doubled that from 33% to 66%, the entire business campaign doubles. So by changing one message, just like one template, that becomes a $3 million pipeline, whatever your figure is. Now, again, I'm using these numbers now to demonstrate the point of input, process, output. If you've not watched video 1, go and watch it. You must understand video 1. If you've not watched video 2, go and watch it. You must understand what we're going through here, to how we got to this point. But you see now how we've got a different way of working. There's only 2 ways to grow your recruitment business: volume and conversion. So once a campaign has been tested 3 times minimum, it usually becomes repeatable from that point onwards. This is why when a member can use their own figures here, they know the input, process, output. Now, there is work involved. They need to identify who my client is, how they're in the marketplace, build a data set, run a campaign, test a campaign. But now it becomes predictable. So when you see our clients who double or 10x their business, and then the person I feel sorry for goes, that's bullshit, they don't get this model. They're still working in the world of phones and sweat and networking lunches and God knows what else. Input, process, output. So can I suggest this? When you combine having 90% of your clients in your market and you have a proven automated system that turns these into leads in your inbox and have an automated nurturing system, you can 10x your leads and roles rapidly. So we focus there on the client side. Next, we're going to focus on the candidate side.